We take you off in this hour to the Eastern Cape, where Zahara's family is preparing for her final send-off. The 36-year-old will be laid to rest following a funeral service 2 weeks after she passed away. Newzroom Afrika's Siphosethu Booi joins me now live from the family home in Phumlani, near East London in the Eastern Cape. Siphosethu, I would imagine that the family is feeling disheartened as they finally now will be laying Zahara to her resting place. What's happening there at the moment as preparations get underway?
Good morning to you, and point to the rest of our viewers. Well, a couple of things are expected to happen this morning, but the first thing is for Zahara's remains to make its way inside the family home. It will be met by family members, friends, and of course close by neighbors who will be receiving her remains. And of course, there's going to be a service that usually starts around 7:30, just before 8. That particular service is an opportunity for many of the family and friends to, view her body for the last time. You will know that Zahara left her home a couple of months ago, going back to, Joburg, and now she's coming home peacefully resting. So many of those family members did not get the opportunity to say their final goodbyes nor see her. So that particular service that's going to be happening in and around 7:30, just before 8, is an opportunity for those family members that will be coming to the family home. Some have travelled from as far off as Cape Town, King Williamstown, and some areas in the Eastern Cape. And then shortly after that, a prayer session, one would call it, that's always led by the women of the congregation, the church that Zahara used to go to. Neighboring women in the particular township of Phumlani will be observing that particular service, and that particular service is also one that prepares the family of what is expected throughout the day, which is of course the funeral of Zahara that will be taking place at the ICC from 9 a.m. We are told that the family will make their way to the ICC in East London, but now currently we do know that the MEC for Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture is here, as well as some of the family members. So far, we're still waiting for Zahara's remains to make its way to her family home here in Phumlani.
As we try and get a sense of exactly what it's looking like there as preparations are underway, Siphosethu, I mean, what can you show us? Because we also know that a lot was said about Zahara yesterday. I mean, her nickname Spinach, and a lot of people sharing their moments with her and the influence she had on the community as well as fans across the country.
Well, yesterday's memorial service was a bittersweet memorial service, because some were celebrating her life while others were being knocked by the reality that she's actually now gone. Zahara, as they spoke about her, and of course calling her by her childhood nickname Spinach, and that particular nickname she received during, her primary school days, because she loved spinach so much. And I'm just going to move out of shot as I just narrate what happened at the memorial service, just to give you a sense of what's currently happening now at her family home. We see some members of the congregation that, her parents as well as herself used to go to, making their way inside the house. That's Zahara's uncle coming out, the one that was welcoming, the guests and thanking the media, as well as the friends and family, who gathered from all across the country to make sure they bid farewell to Zahara in a dignified ceremony at a memorial service yesterday, remembering her friends speaking so highly of her, and of course industry colleagues, particularly that come from the Eastern Cape province, saying that Zahara was one person who truly motivated them and also just inspired them to not give up on their dreams. So currently, these are the people that are walking up and down the streets of Phumlani to pay their last respects to Uspinachi, as they call her here in the township of Phumlani. And of course, just some of those, community members, including young children who were at the memorial service yesterday, saying that today, meaning yesterday, was a sad day for them, because their hero, their role model is no more. They'll never see her smile. They'll never get embraced by her or even hear her sing. However, they are comforted by the fact that Zahara had songs for different phases in one's life. And I think that has been one sentiment that many of the artists and many of the guests that were speaking at her memorial service, even the one that was held in Rema, that my colleague Sikona covered, everyone was saying the same thing about just how Zahara was a person who was gifted in writing songs that spoke to each and every situation or phase one may be going through. So many of the family and friends saying that they'll be comforted to know that each and every song that Zahara wrote was comforting her family. And of course, and Jake's also mentioning the fact that Zahara had recorded a song that actually thanked her supporters, her family, comforting them during this difficult time. A song that literally has lyrics that translate to the fact that, death kills the brain. It urges to the heart and then eventually kills the body. However, South Africans, the world at large, had embraced her, and for her, she will rest knowing that people did not give up on her. So that was a strong message in that song that has not yet been released, that we heard for the very first time yesterday, of Zahara giving her love back to everyone who was a big supporter of hers. As the church now starts just behind me, that particular service of waiting for her remains to make their way for the final last time, Zahara's remains will stop right in front of her gate, and she'll make her way inside, and her family will need all the love and the support to prepare them for what is expected today at the ICC from 9 a.m. We are told that particular service of a funeral will take place.
Very well, Siphosethu Booi, giving us a sense of what is happening at the home of the late Zahara, whose remains will be received by the family any moment from now. A ceremony underway with the church choir already singing in the background, and many expected to pay their final respects. We will continue, of course, to bring you more of what comes out of that service throughout the course of this morning.